Okay, for today's sword and dagger practice we're gonna keep doing the Marocha stuff but in a bit more free-form way. So exploring the tempo and provocations in Marocha style. So let's start everything from the usual part. That being good on down. Okay. I'll start the provoking either by throwing falso dritti to arm or stoccatella to provoke. Now, when we practice both of these, especially the falso dritti to the arm or hand, we need to remember that this is a threatening thing. So if Jussi fails to parry this, these cuts will definitely do damage, hurt, and maybe make you incapable of continuing the fight. So if Jussi didn't have the glove and I make few of these, the knuckles, it will definitely hurt. Okay? So we need to remember that this is something to be feared. It's not something to be feared if you have a strong glove, as we usually do in practice, because this does nothing. You maybe lose a point. But if you do it without the gloves and you get hit to the knuckles, you will fairly quickly remember that it hurts like a fuck. Okay? So try to at least role play it like so, that it will hurt. Or even better, take off your gloves. So, this is the provoke. Usually we do this in order to make Jussi attack me. If Jussi gets hit, small cut, he's like, yes, now I'm angry, or he flees. But usually when you get hit, your reaction is to go away or get really pissed, and that's our moment to punish. Okay? But we're not gonna concentrate on this tactic today. We're gonna concentrate on the moment that our opponent either takes a step away or just plainly refuses to react. So, if I throw this and Jussi doesn't react, I can try stoccatella like so. Even though if Jussi doesn't react, I'll throw reverso. If I can cut with this, it's good. And I should try to cut with this, but not overextend it. Yeah? So if I catch Jussi unawares here, cut the arm, that's good. If Jussi is away, and I throw my cut, and Jussi steps back, now I can fairly nicely wait for Jussi's attack, and when he goes, I can counter and do my play. So this is the first version. I provoke, Jussi doesn't react, I step forward, Jussi reacts, I go with my attacks. Yep. The second version of the play. Do the same, Jussi doesn't react, I go here, Jussi steps back, I strike again. Okay? Because this again is a very good tempo for keeping that attack going. Yep. So with this, start with this play and we'll iterate more after a while. Okay, so the next iteration of the drill. I'll start by provoking. Henkka doesn't react. Okay? We'll provoke, step forward, step here. Now, if Henkka backed up and wants to attack again, I'll have the good tempo for striking back. Okay? So provoke, wait for the attack, and then go. Provoke, go, and like so. Okay? Provoke, step, and like so. Creating a tempo. Provoke, if your opponent steps back, the same, they step back, and if they decide to attack, then you grab the tempo and go. Of course, if I provoke, go forward, strike, Henkka goes, okay, Henkka parries this. This is just the opening of the exchange, and we go as we can. Yep. Let's do this. Okay. The next exercise that we're going to do the rest of the time today is the free play exercise. So put all these pieces together. And now the crucial part of the exercise is to recognize who has the tempo and who has the perfect time for attacking, or who has even time for attacking. So I'll show you the options first. Every time, whatever we do, Henkka doesn't react to my provocation. So I provoke, step forward here. Now if Henkka decides to attack, I have the good tempo because Henkka has to cross the distance between us. Okay? Yep. Okay. Provoke, provoke. Step forward. Henka doesn't do anything. I can keep rolling. Now I have a good tempo because Henka just stepped back and they are, what was the word? Well, not in good form. Okay. They just stepped back. I have the tempo to keep going. Third option. I provoke, step forward, strike. Now Henka comes at me and I have the good tempo again to counter. Yep. So using these options, do free play. You always start it like so that one of you is going to attack and then you start the sequence. The hard part comes when you have to observe, is it a good time to attack or not? Yep. Using any of these three moments. And if we remind ourselves of the Bolognese fencing theory, if I provoke and Henka switches to somewhere, now was the good time and space to strike because Henka was doing something else, he wasn't in a perfect guard, so I have the option to strike. Yeah? But if I go and strike when Henka is in a good guard and have lots of time to react to my strike, now Henka can do the counter and I'll be in trouble. Yeah? So it's all about who is the faster, who can grab the tempo better. It's not really about who is provoking or who is defending, because both can be in a good place in those situations. Yeah, does it make sense? It's pretty hard, but this is how the Bolognese fencing works. Yeah, and this exercise, using only 3 parts of the sequence, try to find the correct spots. There will be definitely moments that I provoke and we both think that now it's a good time to attack and we go at the same time. Yeah, then you just do what you do and you play it out. And there will be options, there will be moments of me provoking, stepping here, and we're both waiting for the tempo. Who wants to attack? This is fine too. Maybe in this moment, if nobody didn't grasp the tempo, now it's a time to make another provocation and start the exchange. Yep, but it's a mind game, at least on theoretical level like this. And of course, everything we do and practice needs to be tied on the theory. Yeah. So even if it's a bit complicated and hard exercise, do it as slowly as you need to do it, as long as you can do it properly. So understanding who has the advantage of the moment. And the advantage of the moment is the key in this exercise. Yes, go. So to bit further clarify the idea of this exercise, or expand it, is that this is a semi-structured exercise. So we have the structure that I showed you: provoking, throwing, throwing. And either of these moments, Henka has the choice of grasping the tempo or waiting, me taking the tempo and countering that. So we both have the same options to use all the time. But the benefit of this kind of practice is that you have a limited set of choices. Because if you can do everything all the time, probably every exchange will be a bit different. Even with these limited choices, we can have very many types of exercises or exchanges. But the benefit is that we have a possibility to predict what's going to happen, because we should know what's going to happen next, at least in the part that is structured. Yeah? So when we structure the play, we can start to see the patterns in the exchanges. If I do this, what can I expect my opponent to do? Or if my opponent does this, what can I expect him to do next? And so on. Yeah? Because all the time when we fence for real, with sharp swords or whatever, without gear, we should be able to predict, or we should strive to predict what our opponent will do. Because every time we start to do things that cannot be, I have no idea what he's going to do next, or even worse, I have no idea what I'm going to do next, it's going to put us into the position of rolling the dice, because we don't know how to react to the next situation that appears. So try to predict what's going on and try to act so that you can predict what's going on. We should avoid of reacting to things, because if I can make Henka to twitch and react to this kind of thing, yeah, if this is Henka's reaction, I can take advantage of it. Yeah? So we should play it so that we have to be in the position of trying to react what's going to happen next. We should try to be in a position that we somehow know what's going to happen next. And of course, guards play a huge part in this, because when you have a certain guard, certain things can happen, and so on. Yeah, makes sense? Furthermore, if you are practicing certain material, let's say, like we have been practicing the whole spring season, the Maratsos sword and dagger. Maratso has a very specific way of playing with the sharp sword and dagger. He has set ideas, what he's trying to achieve, and he has the set methods that he tries to achieve, or he tries to achieve the ideas with the methods. There are not too many ideas, but you get it, yeah? So with this kind of semi-structured training method, we can easily take parts of Maratso's system, for example, and only use those. So this again gives us patterns, also patterns from the sources. So when we practice this pattern from the sources in this limited manner, we can also at the same time practice what we are practicing in a more free way. Because if we only practice the plays as they are, there will always be a big gap to the free play. Okay? But when we put it in small parts and practice them in a semi-formal way with limited choices, we can incorporate the ideas all the time into our free play.